Schumacher. I'm the founder and director of the Unity Woods Yoga Center. We've been teaching yoga in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area since 1979. We teach solely the Iyengar method of yoga, which, as with all methods, builds strength and flexibility through the poses. But because we pay exquisite attention to alignment and precise movement in the poses, our practice is a meditation in action. Its focus, its concentration, and the refinement of awareness that come through the practice lead us into deeper states of our own being. Let's do a pose called Sirsasana, headstand or head balance. This pose presupposes that you've already built up strength and stability in the standing poses and worked on Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog, to begin to turn the body upside down. It also presupposes that you've worked on shoulder stand, Sarvangasana, to tone the spinal muscles to balance the body in inverted poses. Also, women who are pregnant, those of you with high blood pressure or cervical problems, problems in your neck, should avoid this pose or consult an experienced teacher. Let's look at the foundation of the pose first, how to set the pose up. The foundation of the pose is important because, like a building, the foundation determines the quality of the structure above it. If the foundation is imbalanced or weak, then the building itself is unsteady. The pose becomes a weak pose and a problem. Begin by placing your elbows shoulder width apart near the edge of the blanket. The edge of the blanket can guide your elbows so they're even, one nut forward and the other back. Interlock your fingers right up to the webs, so there's a firm interlock. Have the center edge of your forearm on the floor. Take care that the forearm doesn't roll out or in, but be right on the center edge. Keep a space between your palms. Place the crown of your head, the high part of your head, on the blanket, and the back of your head inside your hands. In this position, lift your shoulders so the neck keeps its length. There's no compression or pressure in the neck. With that lift of the shoulders, take your knees up and lift your hips. There's a tendency for the shoulders to drop as the body is up, so you have to press your forearms and keep that lift of the shoulders. Then gradually walk in so the trunk becomes more and more nearly perpendicular without allowing the upper back or the shoulders to sink. So this may take some months of practice to maintain that lift of the shoulders and the freedom of the neck. Don't try to go up until you're stable in this position. Now I'll come down and show you how to come into the pose. Set your foundation up as I just described. Place the crown of the head on the floor, back of the head inside the hands. Lift the shoulders, pressing the forearms to get that lift. And then take the hips up. Walk in. Those of you who are beginners will want to set up near a wall. And when I say near a wall, I mean that your fingers are almost touching the wall. That way you won't worry about the balance and you can work on the proper actions of the pose to keep your neck and spine balanced and free. Walk in as far as you can, keeping the shoulders well lifted, and then swinging the hips back slightly, raise the heels toward the buttocks. Knees stay near the trunk. Reestablish the lift of the shoulders, and then take the knees toward the ceiling. There's a tendency to go straight to the pose, raising the legs, but your pelvis will be misaligned. Taking the knees up first brings the pelvis into alignment directly over the shoulders. Then take the legs toward the ceiling.
Press through the forearms to maintain the height of the shoulders and the freedom of your neck. Press the thigh bones back into the backs of the legs and lift the tops of the buttocks toward your heels. So then the spine keeps its full length and freedom. The actions of the legs, stretching up through the inner legs, pressing the inner thighs back, keeps the body light. As you become more experienced, the arms press less and less, and the weight comes more and more to the head. So you ground through the head to lengthen all the way up through the spine, through the legs. To come out of the pose, reverse the steps that we took to come in. Bend the knees. Keep the shoulders well lifted as you lower the knees toward the chest. And maintaining the height of the shoulders, bring the feet down. Lower your knees to the floor. Spread the knees. Take your trunk between your legs. Rest your head on the floor. Let the arms rest forward in Adho Mukha Virasana, downward facing hero pose. Then you can lift yourself up.
Sirsasana, head balance.